Hello all, this is Päivi and I'm creating another video blog post again. I was encouraged by your feedback in the previous video blog post and I got a really interesting question to my recent written blog post. And I want to answer this question so that I somehow, how would I say, I somehow show what I feel about these things, because I often get comments that what I write is sort of quite controlled, or even if it's quite detailed. I think that when we talk about art, the emotions are also really important to show. So I want to create a video blog post again. And the question is from Anne, and she writes that I'm somewhat of a perfectionist and find it difficult to open up and create something original, unique and abstract. I try to say to myself, no one will see this attempt, so it doesn't matter. But I just can't seem to loosen up enough. Any advice, Päivi? I'm desperate. Abstract art is something where you have to really show the invisible stuff. If you create something realistic, you can show like person's faces and the expression in them, and that's understandable. So for example, if you paint a person and show how the person has a happy face, it's easy to understand that you want to express happiness. But when you transform that to abstract art, you have to show with simple shapes, lines, painterly soft areas, whatever your style is or whatever you want to do, you have to show the same kind of emotion. So it becomes more like a concept. It's not so concrete anymore. So I think it's more like a shift in the way of thinking than the question of opening up. I think it might be some kind of irritating even to think of that as opening up. I'm just referring to my own experiences when I constantly thought that I need to get more emotional and need to show more of my emotions in my art. Actually, I got better result when I, for example, stopped playing music when I was finishing a painting. I often do that because I've noticed that the music brings in the emotion that is not actually there in the painting. So the experience seems to be so emotional, but actually it's the music that does it. So I often listen to music and I use it just to get my inspiration and ideas going. But I've also noticed that too much emotion or thinking problems as emotional is not always a good idea. This might be because I have engineering background, and engineers always want to find out the true reason, the root problem to something. And I think this might be connected with that. But I also think that it is really good at think about things sometimes like an engineer, because there's a sort of interface between those things. My background in engineering has not only been beneficial, and I think that many of you can relate when we all have been in jobs where we need to think really rationally And I think that many artists are surprised how many rational thinking the job as an artist also includes. So all in all, I would approach this problem in a bit different way than to trying to open up. I think there's two main things that you could ponder, and the first is that when you're creating abstracts, you are not expressing so much realistic stuff, but you kind of express more ideas, emotions, atmosphere, different kind of phenomena, transformations, that kind of stuff. Another thing is that I think that what you mean when you refer to difficulties to open up is more like difficulties to change your self-guidance from management to leadership. 2 years ago, when I left my day job and I started as a self-employed artist, I had a lot of this problem. I used to make big lists what I should do, and I always felt a kind of underachiever because I didn't get all the things in the list done. And I saw the solution as creating more lists and try to sort of get more self-discipline there. But slowly I realized that if I'm going to work with myself, I need to be kinder, and I need to kind of persuade more than force myself. If you've been painting realistically, it's a big change to move to abstract. And I think that it's more like a question of persuading and leading than forcing. And this is what might this opening up question to really mean. First of all, I would what I do is that I often write and doodle my thoughts, because I know that those are just the surface of the actual thing that I want to express. So I kind of try to get the bad stuff out before the good, so that the good stuff can emerge. For example, if I look at this plant and I think about that I have to water it, or I have to remove the bad leaves from there, and then I write down that you should do that. Then I kind of can move on and think about how it's structured, and think about how different colors it has, and then again move to a more deeper level. Think about how the leaves reach the light, and how its shape has changed when it's been exposed to light, and how it can be seen in its structure. And it starts to feel really inspiring that I could create shapes that show the interaction when they get light. And then I can think about how goodness in people affect people in the same way, how they really bloom, and when people say good things to them. And that way I've suddenly moved from really mundane tasks to much deeper level where I can totally use in abstract art. Now, sometimes if your painting process or drawing process is very intuitive, it can work in the same way, that you start with really mundane stuff and then you transform it to deeper and deeper things. But that means that you have to persuade, you have to lead yourself, you have to be kind of listen to yourself and accept the mundane stuff so that you can move on to a more deeper level. When I said that I have an engineering background, I also mean that I have had problems with looking art very narrow-mindedly. There has been times when the only art I have accepted has been abstract art, and I remember many moments when I was in an art museum and I saw abstract paintings and how they really touched me, and how I thought that I never want to look at any other style of art again, because this is the only style that really connects with me. And if I had to, and I say had to, go to art exhibitions or art museums where they showed older art, like old portraits or old still lifes and such, I was totally bored. I felt disconnected. I felt that they somehow represented old thinking, and that I'm a computer engineer of the new age, and that that's all what's behind. But the more I've been exposed to art, the more I've realized that I know so little, that I need to know more. I need to know how that portrait was painted, how somebody painted a butterfly in an old still life in the middle of the flowers, why it was made, and also the techniques behind all that. And the more I've been exposing myself to different kinds of art, it seems like I'm also accept a wider variety of ideas from myself. And I also see so many possibilities. For example, when you say that you want to create something original, unique and abstract, I see so many possibilities, so many directions. And the question is that what direction do you want to lead yourself? And it's not a certain style. The answer is not a certain style. It's not even a certain era. The answer is more like, what do you want to express with your art? And that, if you think about that, there has been artists during centuries, hundreds and hundreds of years, who have had that same passion, that they have, for example, to me, I find it so moving that there has been artists who have wanted to express similar kind of aesthetics that I connect with in different era. They've used different ways. They've used different ideas, different values, but they somehow have the same kind of, how would I say, approach, that they want to show the beauty behind things, that they want to show, they want to uplift people. And I get so emotional when I think about that I'm one person in the long chain of artists that have done that. And that's definitely not a matter of style. There are many abstract artists that have totally different goals, and there are so many traditional artists and so many ancient art even that expresses the same kind of values and same kind of mission that I have. So being exposed to many kinds of art and analyzing what's there behind that, what there could be connected with your mission as an artist, I think that's really mind-blowing. That's a kind of road that I feel that one life is not enough to study all that, to know all that, but it's consolating that I'm kind of, that then I and then you, and when you find your mission, you are in the chain of artists, and when the new artists come, they connect with the same chain of artists. And that's like a mind-blowing thing, that it's more like a system or mechanism or value or mission, a big thing that you're part of. And when you think of that, I think that you will never run out of inspiration. It will bring new kind of leadership to your art making process. You can find words that are more specific than original, unique and abstract. And you can also find soulmates in artists that have been in the past, artists that are there, are living now. And also you can see how you can connect with future, with days that you don't actually quite understand. But you know, art is always reaching to the future, and when we understand this big chain that we can be part of, it's so understandable. The themes that I've talked here, I try to include these in every course that I create, and I'm currently really excited about the spring and what I have coming up there, and it certainly will be about visual communication and expressing yourself so that it's free in that way, that it even if it takes ideas from concrete stuff, it also moves to more abstract level. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you will sign up. Make sure you have subscribed my email list, because I will announce my new classes there, and you can still sign up to Imagine Monthly, which is if you want more step-by-step instructions to create something that you haven't done before. That's an excellent class for that. I would like to hear if you think that these video blog posts are too long now. When I knit, I've really enjoyed really long podcasts. So maybe you're a knitter or quilter, or maybe you create art while you're listening, and maybe you find longer podcasts more enjoyable. Let me know. Which are your favorites? Do you want me to create more video blog posts, short ones, long ones? Do you want me to talk, or do you want me to create art, or what kind of written blog post do you enjoy most? I'm open to all suggestions. You know, when I blog every week, it's always much more inspiring to create the blog post when I know that there's somebody who will like it than if I figure out a subject and write it on my own. So thank you, Anne, for sending your question, and it was really good to know that there's at least one person who will look at this, probably a bit more, but thank you.